Hi, Jeff Higley with HotelNewsNow.com. We're here at the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta, where the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference is being held. And with me is Rob Dann, the president of CSM Lodging from Minneapolis. Rob, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate it.
Sure, no problem at all.
Your portfolio, as I said, you've been around for since '98, and during this morning's panel, you said something that was really interesting. I think it caught several people by surprise, was the fact that in that time frame, the 38 properties you have in your portfolio, you've never sold one. Now, obviously you're a long-term player or a long-term holder in the industry. What's the philosophy behind that?
Well, it's interesting. You know, we would like to be a seller if it was the right market, but we've never really found the right niche. We looked at putting a portfolio together and selling it at the end of '07. By the time we got around, we kind of missed the peak on it. So we would be a seller in the right market. We're not seeing the right market right now, and I think it's going to be a little while before the right market is really there.
Are you a player in the acquisition market? Are you actively looking for hotels to acquire?
I am. I'm probably spending 30% of my day doing that at this point. Unfortunately, the quality assets aren't coming out. It's kind of the junk's flushing through the system is what's happening right now. We are actively speaking to a couple different lenders about some possible acquisitions, maybe some third-party management on the short term, and then buying a note or taking a position. We'll see how that goes.
Buying a note seems to be the latest rage. I mean, that seems to be the way to get to those quality assets. Is there any thoughts from how much of that is out there?
Well, it's been happening actually over the last year or so. There's quite a bit of it out there. There's not a lot of publicity about it, kind of quiet transactions, but I think there's a fair amount of that out there right now. I know we've been approached by several of lenders that we have relationships with over the years that have talked to us about buying out notes. And there's two different ways: notes to gain control and notes just to be in a note position. We'd be more interested in buying notes to get into a position to take over the asset for sure.
And hotels aren't your only play. You have assets in other asset classes. How does the hotel industry compare to some of those other asset classes in this environment?
It's interesting, commercial, we have a large commercial portfolio, and that actually did pretty well through '09 when the hotels were obviously down significantly. The hotels started coming back in '10. We were up a little over 6% in RevPAR. We're looking to be up 7.5 here in '11. The commercial now has bottomed out. So.
Do you prescribe to the argument that the hotel business really isn't a real estate business; it's an operating business?
I really do. I'm an operator through and through, and I can see the difference in the quality and the value of assets based on the operations. We have a very strong operating platform, and it makes us a strong sponsor. The lending institutions are really impressed with what we've done.
Let's talk about your full-service properties then. During the course of the last couple of years as a downturn took hold, did you find yourself cutting some things, some amenities, maybe some positions, and are we at the stage where that stuff can start being added back, or is it still in long-term streamline mode?
Well, it's interesting. We certainly changed our operating model over the last 2 years. We definitely ratcheted back on our staff. I was just looking at my FTE counts yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they're lower than they've ever been. So to go back now and add the labor back in when we've been operating pretty well, it's a tough pill to swallow. We are starting to bring back some labor. Certainly, service is paramount to the business, and we're going to make sure that the service levels are there. But I think it'll be somewhere in between. I'm not so sure that the industry will ever grow back to the labor model that it was at a few years ago.
Rob Dann, president of CSM Lodging, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.